My name is Jill, and I'm sitting here today with Marita Fridjhon and Faith Fuller, who are co-founders of CRR Global, home of Organization and Relationship Systems Coaching, also known as ORSC. And today we're going to be talking about a program that they've co-created, a very special and unique program that they've co-created called Walk the Talk, which is going to be delivered in California and in Dubai later this year.
Great. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, everybody, and hi, Jill. Thanks for being here with us.
No problem. So, Marita, let's start with you. Tell us a bit about this program and why you and Faith chose the name Walk the Talk.
Thanks, Jill, and Faith and I will sort of chime in with one another also. I think one of the things that we've been so involved in creating coach training, and we come from a background of coaching ourselves and spiritual practice, and at some point there really, for us, was the hunger to be in a deeper conversation with people about, if it's not about our clients, but it becomes about us. How do we live the work? How do we walk the talk of the work? Then let's create something like that, which I think as we get older is really good use of Faith and myself as well. But that was the piece, is to get beyond the client across from me or the student across from me to the other human being that has to walk the talk of the work.
And if I chime in on that, in certification, we found that people often had a secret fear that if anybody knew what they were actually like with their spouses or their kids, or, you know, that they would be drummed out of certification somehow. So it got really clear to us that most of us, I feel like I'm not in the right relationship most of the time, and a lot of sense of, oh my goodness, why can't I actually live this stuff? It's one thing to train, but why it's much harder to live it with your family. So we got really interested in trying to give people that opportunity.
And I noticed that, you know, in some of the literature that's coming out about this program, that you're actually calling it a program rather than a course. And there seems to be that distinction there.
Yeah.
Well, as Marita mentioned, it's not a coach training. No. There are new tools. I want to say people can expect there are quite a few new tools. So you certainly will be able to use those tools with your clients, but it's really designed for people in their personal relationships, their friendships, their work relationships. How do you actually be a good ORSCer in terms of living the values of right relationship?
So Faith, who is this program actually designed for?
Well, anybody who's taken at least either a fundamentals or an ORS at work is invited to come to this program. So you don't have to have completed the series or certification or anything like that. We just want to know you've had the basics, and the kind of people who come are all kinds, consultants, coaches, therapists, anybody who loves the work and would like to know better how to live it.
Great.
I'm also aware that when we piloted, even if there are people in the program that has been certified or are, you know, very well established ORS coaches, and there are a couple of people who have just done fundamentals or whatever, there's a lot of partnering that happens in the work and in the workshop, and people learn from one another. So nobody has to feel like they're going to be left out if they've not done the whole thing. And I think the only other piece in terms of who is it for, I know that one of the places where I'm probably most challenged in walking the talk of this work is, yes, in my personal relationships, but also as a CEO of a company. I wrote the book on creating intelligent teams. And oh boy, do I often fall flat on my face as the creator of this and go, oh boy, what did just happen there? So,
yeah.
You actually, it's a perfect segue into the next question because you alluded to it in what you just said, Marita. Why should Walk the Talk be the next step for ORSCers?
You know, Faith introduced me to the concept that I think is in literature around that for us as leaders and as coaches, there is a horizontal development that is about skills and tools. And there is a vertical development that is about doing the work on myself. And I think that, I do think that for us who are out there helping and supporting and challenging and growing people, we often can get isolated from ourselves and not do the work that is about me. the human, the vulnerable, not the one that can hold it all, but the one that can sit in the fire with myself and with my partner and with my colleague. So I do think that for us, it is a spiritual practice from whatever tradition you're thinking of, to do that work on ourselves, and it's an opportunity for that.
Mm-hmm. Also, I think we hold anybody who's doing the ORSC work as they're often change agents. We have a role to play in our communities, in our country, and it's important to be able to have done that vertical development that Marita is talking about in order to be able to do that kind of world work that we hold our students as having the capacity for. So, yeah, it's an evolution as for who I am as a person, not just as a coach or a consultant.
Sounds like it's going to be a very powerful program, a program where there's a lot of self-awareness, very deep dialogue, deep connection. Yeah.
One of the other things that I just think about as we're talking about that, Jill, is how often people who talk to us about the impact of the training on their lives, 9 out of 10 times people will report the difference that it made for them personally. Yes, the difference that it makes for their clients. Yes, the difference that it makes for the organization. But 9 out of 10 times when somebody writes a blog or contact us, it is about a revolution that happened in their own lives with their own people. The biggest understanding of the work actually happens right there. And that's why it feels like it's timely and it's really needed for us as practitioners.
Mm-hmm. Now, well said. This is something that you've co-created, and so this question is for both of you. What is special, meaningful for you about this particular program, this co-creation?
Well, it means a lot to me because I think both Marita and I have a not so secret agenda to help people to evolve into being better human beings. Right relationship with not just my family or my clients, but with my community, with my world. And the program's designed to begin with myself, to look at the internal system of who I am. And then, the next day we're focused on more intimate relationship with people, could be friendships. But the final piece is also around what's my relationship to the larger systems, the organization, society, and so on. So it's designed to help us to think about who do I want to be and how do I want to behave with my own system, my personal systems, and the larger societal systems. And that evolves us as human beings, and I think that's important to both Marita and me.
The only other piece that I would add to that on a more personal note is that I think that there is a need at the moment for legacy, for building beyond the functionality that is of coaching or managing or leadership. There is a need for us to evolve to a different place. And for us, this is part of our legacy, and we're so excited that as we are beginning to move this into other environments, that there are some of our senior leaders that are beginning to step up as well, and that will help carry this work too. So there's a legacy piece, there's a piece that is about needing more wisdom practices, needing more in-depth work, and that happens at a slightly slower pace than what we can do things in a training and in a curriculum training. And that's, I think, there's a personal hunger, not only for us, but I think for many around that. That's part of what makes it special. It becomes an intimate program.
Mm. And so that program is 3 days, three full days together. Anything more you want to say about what participants can expect to sort of walk away with or can expect to experience in those 3 days? It sounds like it's going to be very intense, intimate, intense, and very deep.
Well, I think that's probably true. I'm not sure Marita and I have ever created anything that wasn't intense.
True enough.
I think we mean it as a deep dive. So it's a deep dive into what's my relationship with my internal system, a deep dive into looking at how we get hooked with other people. a deep dive in terms of how do I open myself up to the voice of the larger systems that maybe want to speak through me. So it's ORSC based, and it has a lot of adaptation of ORSC tools. And there's also, as I mentioned, some new tools to help us connect with these different systems.
Well, I think the only other thing I want to say is that it also is, because of its intimacy and vulnerability, it also is a workshop program where I think people have fun, where we can laugh at one another, not only with one another, but at the, oh my good grief, is that really me that just did? There's just this different, with vulnerability very often doesn't only come depth and intensity, but the ability to laugh at ourselves. Right. And to feel safe enough to sit with somebody else and go, oh, I'm so happy to see that somebody else does that. You know, so there's a lightness to it as well. So I don't want for you to walk away with thinking that, oh my God, it's going to be just intense. It won't.
Well, the one thing that I can say, having experienced many ORSC workshops before, and this is different, it is more of a program, is that the environment that's created is very safe, and that there's both learning, deep learning, as well as connection and fun and safe. And I'm sure that this will be almost all of those things on steroids. in
Something like that.
Program. So just to summarize then, Walk the Talk is a very unique program for ORSC practitioners, those who have taken at least an introductory course with CRR Global. It's 3 days of deep dialogue about right relationship. It's being held in 2 locations, in Dubai in September 27 to 29, and in Northern California, October 26 to 28. And if you want more information on it, please visit the dates and location page on CRR Global's website. That's crrglobal.com. You go to the For Coaches tab, and then you scroll down, and I think it's two layers down is the dates and location page. And that will get you to more information about this particular program. Faith and Marita are also going to be holding an information call a little bit down the road, so you can expect to hear more about that. And Marita and Faith, I want to thank you both for taking the time to speak with us today about Walk the Talk. You really are true thought leaders, and it has been a real privilege to speak with you today.
Thank you, Jill. As always, pleasure to hang with you.
Thanks, thanks, everybody. Come and join us. Come and join us.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye.